Waiting for Nick. Hey,
Oh man.
what's up, man?
What's up, dude? How are you? Hold on. All right, check this out. I'm gonna try some lighting stuff here so that this
Okay,
looks a little better, okay?
that looks good.
Let's let's see how this works. Let's just see, because what do we
I
have to
like it.
lose?
No, I think
It
you look
looks all
nice.
it looks all right. All right. Well, this I'm still in
Yeah.
full quarantine attire. Sweatpants, hoodie, that's it. That's what you get.
How
All right, hold on.
how on earth?
What?
Okay, I'm waiting.
How on earth what?
How on earth did you break many laws and go from California to Minnesota this week?
All right, I'll explain
I thought
everything
I
in just
thought
a
you couldn't
second.
even drive out of. I thought you couldn't even drive out of state, or they would pull you over for the different plate.
Well, we did get pulled over, but
Aha!
but hold on. Does this look better? Whoa, that's bright, huh?
You look great, man. I do you.
All
If I
right.
was a girl, of course.
I'll tell you what. That stash, dude, that's something else. Is that your
I
quarantine stash? This is
Yeah,
new.
this has been like a month and a half right now.
Wow.
I know your singer Alex in 3Teeth has like a pretty cool one, but I'm doing
Yeah.
what I can. Doing what I can.
I mean, you're keeping up pretty good, man. Hold on. Can I go sideways, or does that not make much sense?
No, don't do that. That looks weird.
Okay. All right. All
You're
right.
good,
Up and
man.
down. Okay.
Perfectionist.
Dude, um, how are you, Ross? It's been I like honestly think the last time we hung out was at the Long Shot Show.
We're gonna talk all about that as we get deep into the conversation.
Okay.
It actually is a sentimental day because 2 years ago on this day was the first long shot show at the Wayfair in Orange County,
Yes.
and now 2 years later we're quarantined and can't go to any concert.
Nothing. And yeah, no shows, no concerts. This is fairly devastating.
Before we
How are you?
talk about the band you're in now and
Okay.
everything, I want you to tell us how you got to Minnesota.
Oh, right. Okay. So my girlfriend lives, well, she's from Minnesota, so her family is here. We have been
Yeah.
quarantined. We have been quarantined in the sense of no leaving the apartment except to get groceries
Yes.
since like March 12th, I think, basically when they shut everything down. I was home
Correct.
between tours, and her company that she works for um just immediately told her stay at home. So we were like, you know what? Let's go see her family. They live kind of out in the suburbs. But we did a quarantine road trip. This is what we did. We didn't do your standard road trip. So we packed all of our own snacks. Um, we did not stop to get any food whatsoever. We did not stay in any hotel rooms. And I brought, well, I don't have it in here with me. I should have brought it. But basically, I have a little spray bottle
Okay.
of I have a little spray bottle, and I've been using this in the gym, so I brought it with me. But it's I put
What are you doing in the gym? Did you make a wrong turn going somewhere else?
yeah, right. So somehow the gym in our apartment complex is not closed, and I think it might be because we live with a lot of lazy people, and there is
Okay.
only ever 1 to 3 people in that gym at a time anyway. Even when there's not COVID-19, there's one
Got
to
it.
three people in that gym. So now 9 times out of 10 you're in there alone. Anyway, I'm trying to be, responsible during this whole thing. I got some 70% isopropyl alcohol and put it in a spray bottle and just spray everything down. So when we did have to stop for gas, we would put our gloves on and we would spray everything down, fill up, and only use our card. We wouldn't go inside. Um, it took us about 26 hours, but we drove straight through.
But how many times did you get pulled over
Oh,
and
right,
what
right,
happened when
right.
you did?
So we got pulled over only once, and the guy didn't say anything about us traveling during all of
Really?
this. He
What were
pulled
you
us
doing?
over. He pulled us over because for speeding. He
Okay.
pulled us over for speeding. We were like in Colorado, like right about to hit the mountains, and it was like 7 in the morning. I think this guy was just bored.
Yeah.
And he let us out with a warning. He was super cool. He that was it. It was no trouble though whatsoever. And I think because we were going from the coast to the middle of the country, no one cared. Like all the gas stations we stopped at, nobody was wearing a mask. Um, it was interesting. You know what was really cool, honestly, was seeing the country right now. and at the same time, it kind of it like briefly, what's the word I'm looking for? It like it like gave me a little taste of tour. You know what I mean? To like
Yeah,
get in
that's
the
fine.
car and just not sleep and drive for, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, eat crappy food.
I know all about it, man. So, what was the cheapest gas station that you
Dude,
found? 26 hours.
I I want to say it was like somewhere in it was definitely when we got more towards the middle of the country, but dude, like a buck 35.
Wow. Here it's like
Yeah,
two. Here it's 247 now in Los Angeles.
which is unheard of.
Nope. Now I've been here 16 years in this state. I've never seen it under like
Never.
$3. Yeah.
And the best part is you can't even really drive anywhere.
No, I have been on the same tank for like a month and a half. It's
Have you
really
really?
it's interesting. I usually, when I drive like places, I fill up like every 3 days normally. So it's so
Right.
weird. It's so weird.
How's your quarantine going, buddy? How you holding up?
Oh, don't worry about me. Just started doing interviews again. I didn't do this for like 3 years.
I know.
Because I've been like, well, I explained I'll do the short version because I've been saying this every show I've done.
Cool.
Once Instagram and Facebook did this component where you can go live, it definitely killed shows like mine in the sense that no one needed to
Uh,
travel to a live show when they could just go live anywhere they wanted to.
right.
So immediately my quality of guests, went from like A level to like F level overnight. So I said, you know what? I'm not gonna put on this whole production and like, no one cares. So I just kind of
Mm,
bowed out gracefully. And now that you can do this interview thing, which I think has been around a few months, but I just wasn't paying attention. I was like, hey,
sure.
now's a good time to do this. And now like literally everybody's doing it. So I just look like I'm a bandwagoner, even though I like
Love
been
it.
doing live interviews for like 18 years.
No, you've got the staying power, Ross. You've got the staying power.
Thank you. No, so it was cool. So like I did the first show with my buddy Craig from Film Speed just to test it out, and
Uh-huh.
it was fun. And then I got my Nick from Bayside, my other Nick number one,
Nice.
Nick number two. Sorry, you're Nick
Oh,
number one.
oh, I'm Nick number one. All
Yeah.
right. I like
So
that.
Nick from Bayside did it, and I was like, you know what? That was kind of fun. Let's see what else I can do. And so then we had
Sure.
a Less Than Jake on the show, which I had never interviewed Chris before, and he came on and played live. And then we had
Dude, cool.
Ballyhoo on, who I've always been friends with, but I was never able to, coordinate a good time for them to come on the show when they were in town.
Sure.
So now I'm doing it, and I'm trying to get all the artists that aren't doing it with other companies or doing it themselves. I did reach
Okay.
out to a few bands that didn't respond, and then I later saw them doing it themselves, so they probably didn't want to like reveal the big surprise that they were going to go live. And
Yeah.
that
It's like an internet radius clause.
everyone has like a different vibe. Some people like to just go live and read the questions, which I feel like is kind of awkward, and then other
Yeah.
people are doing interviews, but I don't think the interviewers are that great because they're probably new to it. It's probably like the first time they've ever tried it. So
Okay.
I just like having conversations with people, and so I decided to pick you and people I'm friendly with, so it's not as like uncomfortable. Whereas, I did like
Good call.
5,000 interviews in my apartment, and half of those people I'd never met, and they were kind of boring.
Yeah.
Even no matter
Yeah.
how big, no matter how famous some of them were, if they were boring, I never had them on again because it just wasn't interesting.
Sure.
So
Can
I think it's
I
just,
I
I
gotta
think
say
it's
hi
fun.
to a few people that I've seen
Yeah,
join real
scroll.
quick. All right. So I want to say hi to Dan, and I gotta say hi to Anthony. And oh, Matt Steele is in. Dude, there's a lot of great people in here. All right.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I hope they're still in here. I don't know. But Dan, Matt, uh, Anthony. Oh, this is great. Oh, and we have Jordan, who's the Glasgow bastard.
That's why
Um,
that's why I try to keep the show to like 45 minutes or less because I feel like the attention span of someone nowadays, especially online, is not very long. So
yeah, yeah.
like
Oh,
so
we
so
got
like
Mike.
if you look at the top, you're like, oh, there's only 17 people watching, but then at the end it'll say like you had 800 viewers because I think the average person watches for like
Oh,
I think the average person watches for like 60 seconds and then they're like, all right, bye.
that's
Short
me normally.
short short attention spans. I get it.
I'm yeah, I'm
Like
definitely joined these
like
things.
the biggest show I did so far was with Ryan Seaman for
Yes.
and that was like 1,400 viewers, but at the time there was like 80 people watching. I'm like, that's it. And then at the end it was like total 1,400. I'm like, man, these guys are just logging on and off like so quickly.
Dude, like when I saw that Ryan was going to be on here, that was one that I really wanted to join, but I don't know if anyone else is experiencing this during their quarantine, but The days are really weird. Like I'll be
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, I want to do this. I want to like, do a thing. And then before I know it, it's like 11 o'clock at night and all this other stuff that I'd had planned is passed. And dude, it is so hard to stay on a schedule when there's no schedule. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is I right now, and I used to pretend like all I did was the show, like many musicians pretend all they do is
Right.
play music, but
Yeah.
that's not the case. I'm a
It's
stenographer.
not.
I'm a stenographer. I caption real time lectures for deaf people,
Yeah.
colleges and city hall and meetings all over LA. And
Hell
so
yeah.
I'm lucky that a lot of these classes are now on Zoom. So I have a
Yep.
sort of structure every day, Monday through Friday for now. So during the
You're still
weekdays,
working?
I'm working from home, but it gives
That's
me something.
killer.
It gives me something to do.
That's
Once
got to help so much.
once the classes end in June, then I will be bored and I'll truly know what it's like to have nothing to do. Right
The
now, I'm
real,
only bored Saturday and Sunday. Now, like once this is done, I'm gonna be so bored, man. That's part of the reason why I started doing the show again was to do something.
yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, dude, this whole thing, it's so funny. All I've wanted for the last like 10 years of my life is this.
What
Is just for
to do
everything to
nothing?
shut down and give me like a fucking month to just do nothing and figure my shit out. And now that
Well,
it's here, I'm just anxious the whole time that I'm not doing enough to be productive through this time. You know what I
well,
mean?
well. Can you give me like I did this with Ryan?
Okay.
Can you start from the beginning of like touring artists that you've been involved with leading up to now? Like
Yeah.
in case there's like a Nick Rossi like fanatic and they want to make sure they know
Oh
every
boy.
band you've ever toured with.
Oh man. Let's hope that's not the case. But yeah,
I don't mean like I don't mean like the high school stuff. I mean like the first
I know.
real band that you played shows with.
My so my whole thing is like I kind of quit music. So I played music all through high school and then I quit. And I tried to not do music. I went to
Yeah.
college for other stuff. And then a friend of mine got me back into music. He was like, "You got to stop this shit, drop out of school and start a fucking band." So I did. And then that was kind of my like reintroduction into this stuff. I had the band for like 8 months and then New Year's Day happened.
Okay. And
So,
New Year's Days had like a million drummers. So I don't know what number drummer you were.
dude, I was actually number 2. I replaced like the
Really?
original guy that had been in the band, was writing all the music, and it was really a crazy kind of like weird place to step into because the other drummer wasn't just a drummer. He was like I said, he wrote a bunch of the music and
You
he
talking
was
about you
like
talking about you talking about Russ?
Russ, yeah, yeah. He was
Yeah.
really, really heavily involved in that band. Um, so to come in and replace that guy was, it was a little bit weird. And he had kind of left on his own accord, but that was the first one. And it was
Yeah.
literally just dude, I quit my job and I moved into Ash's floor. And I like slept on Ash's floor on a few blankets, and we did the whole thing. After that, it was Combi Christ. So then that was from like 2016 to 2018.
And I'm just gonna stop you there for people that might know New Year's Day and not Combi Christ. Combi Christ is not like your a local band. That's a big deal in their scene.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
Yeah.
So and I met them on tour because New Year's Day opened for Combi Christ, and it was
Uh,
that was like we had done 1 2 week tour before that, which was my very first tour ever, and it was with New Year's Day. We were opening for Escape the Fate, but then we opened for Combi Christ, and that was like a life changing tour for me. Like meeting those guys, becoming friends with them, and then just that tour in general was super cool, really, really, really fun.
but were they
And
scouting? Were they scouting you at the time? Like they were planning on kicking out their drummer, and they wanted to grab you.
no, it was in that's why it was so fun because it was such an organic, cool thing. Like dude, I had never even heard of Combi Christ before we went on tour with them.
Huh.
Never heard of them. Wasn't my bag. Don't really listen to that style of music other than like Nine Inch Nails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that whole thing was just friends. Like we were just really good friends and hit it off. And then when I had left New Year's Day, they had always usually had 2 drummers. At that point, they only had 1 drummer, and they were like, "We want to bring 2 drummers back," and had asked me to come along. And
Right.
that started that whole thing, which was really, really cool. My first show with them was in Colombia, and there was no rehearsal. It was just fly into South America, and then we're gonna play a show tomorrow. And what's funny? I was just talking to my friend Chad about this the other day. but that was the first time I played a headlining set, so anything longer than 25 minutes. And I
Really?
remember, yes, I had never
Wow.
done anything longer than like 25 or 30 minutes at that point. So when we got done with that show, dude, I remember being so winded and tired, and like I was like dry heaving. Like it was it was a fun time, but it was crazy. Anyway,
Wow.
after that, you know what? During some downtime, this guy who plays his guy's name is Jorma Vic. He's a drummer, and he's a really good drummer. But he used to play for the Bronx
Okay.
and now plays for Eagles of Death Metal. For some reason, him and I are friends on Facebook, and he posted, anybody looking for a gig? I know somebody who needs a drummer. I, commented on the thing. Yep, let's do this. And it wound up being Frankie. So then in the middle of the Combi Christ and playing with them, when I was home, I would play with Frankie Clark with her band Frankie and the Studs.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of doing two bands during that, and then that's where you and I got to hang out. And then 2019, I kind of took a break from touring. I didn't tour a lot, but I did start playing with. I played a few shows with a band called the Pink Slips,
Okay.
and then we did like a 6-date tour that was just it was L.A., San Francisco, New York, Brooklyn, and Chicago, and like that was it. It was a lot of fun. And but it was just just a quick thing. I didn't really do much then. And then at the very beginning of this year, I was at Disneyland in line for the what was I? Oh, we were in line for the Star Wars ride, the new Star Wars ride, and I got a
Yeah.
message from Lex, and it was like, "Hey, you want to come and do this? We need a drummer, and we have 10 days before we leave for Europe. So if you want to
But
do it, let's go."
how does he know who you are though?
Um, I think it was a big just being kind of in the same scene as Combi Christ. He had
Okay.
actually come out to a Combi Christ show that we did in LA. I can't remember what tour it was. It was one of the last ones I had done with him, but he was out at the show. Um, he knew Joe, and everybody in Combi Christ knows them. And yeah, anyway, they kind of knew each other, and I think I was on their radar because of that. And then my friend Elias too, I think knows them in some way. And just once you kind of get into this stuff, it's like a little community. You know what I mean? Everybody it's a
Yeah.
small world. You know how it is, man. It's a
Well,
small world.
I'm happy for you. I feel like you're on your way to being the next Ryan Seaman, where when people need a drummer, they call Ryan.
Let's hope so.
Now maybe they'll also call you.
Let's hope so, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 6 years. I'm hoping now to just stay put for a little bit. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to staying put with these guys.
Good. So
Um,
before we talk all about 3Teeth and take some questions, I want you to back up.
okay.
And so you were in Frankie and the Studs. You went on tour
Yes.
you went on tour with the Long Shot, one of the coolest
Yes.
things I've ever witnessed.
That was a lot of fun, man. That was a lot of fun.
I mean, but I never got to hear any cool stories from you about this. Maybe you can share it with us now. Any cool interaction with Billy Joe at all that you had that you might want to tell us that's like a memorable experience,
Was one big thing about that tour that was super memorable was really more for me personally, but I'll kind of tell you this because it would happen before anything. It was funny. So at the time, my girlfriend Rachel was out visiting me in LA. She had not moved out yet, and we were hanging out. I can't remember what we were doing, but I had gotten a text from Frankie, and she was like, "Hey, we got asked to do this. Are you available?" And I said, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
I'm available. So like let's do it." And then she didn't tell us who it was for like another few days though, which was the really fun part. So when we found out, obviously it was like, this is cool,
Yeah.
But all right, going back to my previous thing. So for me, that tour was really cool because at the beginning of it, our bass player could not do it. When she was asking, everybody in the band, these are the dates, can you do it? Our bass player couldn't do it. So we obviously we were like, all right, we got to find somebody. So everybody kind of starts asking around. I asked a couple of people and had gotten a couple of no's just because, the dates or whatever didn't work. But I did get to bring out like one of my longtime friends. This was a guy that I was in my high school bands with. And then when I got back into music after college, he and I were in a band together and wrote a bunch of music and really went in hard on it. And he was willing to do it. So for me, it was a really cool full circle moment to be able to come up with this guy and know him since we were freshmen in high school, do all of our music stuff together. Everything that kind of led up to that point, other than New Year's Day and Combi Christ, for me, was with this guy in my life. And then I got to take him on tour, and it was like his first tour. He's a massive, massive Green Day fan. So, and Billy Joe Armstrong, like songwriting fan, just
Yeah.
massive. So for him, it was huge to A, get to go on tour, and B, have it be with Billy Joe Armstrong, which was really cool.
It's a small tour, so I imagine you got to hang out a bit.
Yes. So all right. So the first show was at the Wayfair, which was cool because the backstage at the Wayfair is literally a shipping container. And the coolest thing about that band was they always hung out. So they weren't the like, hey, we're a big band doing a small club tour, but we're gonna go get a suite at the Hilton, you know what I mean, and hang out down there until 10 minutes before we play, and then we're gonna show up. Like, they hung in all of the dirty, shitty backstages with us every night, having beers, throwing music on, talking music, bands, like they were just the coolest dudes, man. Like every night it was this hang, and we played these small venues. So it was a lot of the backstages were like that. And I just remember being in the next show was Tijuana, and we were kind of told to stick around the venue. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a, hey, don't leave, but it was also like a, you just be around. You know what I mean? Because things can get weird. So
that's why I've never been to Tijuana. That's why I didn't go to the show. I'm always like, I don't know, man. I shouldn't go.
That was my first time playing there. And dude, so I'll tell you, that show was cool because it was a bar, all right? And then, like, there was a courtyard in the middle of the bar that had an open, there was no roof or anything, and that's where the stage was. So you had to come in through the bar, but it was surrounded by walls on all four sides. And our backstage was right above that. And so you could look out the window straight down onto the stage and see everybody.
Amazing.
Dude, you know how, like you've kind of been around a lot of those people before, and like you know how like when somebody of Billy Joe Armstrong like walks into a room, it's a little bit like, whoa, you know what I mean, it's just they kind of take a lot of the attention just because of who they are and what they've done, especially if you're super into them. And it felt like that for about 5 minutes, and then after that it was like I said, like there was always a Bluetooth speaker, and it was constantly like, yo, Johnny Thunders, fuck yeah, that song's awesome. Rolling Stones, hell yeah, that's like, and then it was a lot of just like, yo, did you know that when they recorded this, blah, 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 like all this goofy, weird stuff that all of us geek out on with our favorite records. It was that every night for like, whatever, 12 nights or however long the tour was, and it was really cool. But I remember like that night in Tijuana in particular, they go on stage and play, and it was fucking wild. You saw it. I mean, they were doing a lot of covers and stuff. Well, so when you're on the stage, it's, they have the area that you're playing. There's no ceiling or there's no roof. You're playing outside, but then you have to walk through a bar to get outside. Well, they had started playing a cover, and I can't remember what one it was, but you could hear everybody on the street outside in front of the bar that knew the Long Shot was playing, singing along to all these songs. So when they would stop, or they would do like a drum break where they would sing a chorus or whatever, like you would hear all these people out that weren't even in the show singing along, which was really awesome. And then leaving that show was wild, dude. I watched people. We were in the van right behind them because we were going to kind of caravan it through the border. Yeah. And I mean, I watched the Long Shot get in their minivan, and people literally jump on the minivan and ride it as it was leaving.
I promise you that wasn't me.
No, it was, yeah, man, it was crazy, dude. It was just every night it was like, Jesus Christ, we're playing this show. That's nuts. Yeah. Like you just take a step back and be like, I can't believe the band that I play in is the one on this bill. It was weird, man. And all right, so get this. My girlfriend knows this because about a year ago, I thought I lost all my tour laminates, and my tour laminates to me are like everything. Like, yeah. Ever since I was in high school, and you see people with laminates, and you like, if you want a tour, you're like, I want that. I want a big fucking stack of them. And you know what I mean? It's like it's the best way to remember a tour for me, because not a lot of people have that except the ones that were really involved. So
Yep.
I would honestly say that was probably the biggest tour that I had ever done, like in terms of people that we played with and just how, playing opening for that band.
Which is ironic because the venues are probably some of the smallest you've played.
I played those venues. So that was the best part. I played a lot of those same venues to like them half full.
Yeah.
And then to play them again and have literally see people lined up around the block trying to get in was hilarious and awesome. And anyway, if anyone in here has ever been to a show that I've played, you know that I like to crowd surf a lot. So this tour was no exception, and I lost 2 fucking laminates on that tour, crowd surfing. So 2 lucky Longshot fans have Longshot laminates from that tour. I lost the first one, made it through a couple shows without it, and then I asked their tour manager, Bill, if I could have another one. He gave me another one, and I lost that one on the last night of the tour. And
well, at least it was the last night.
It was, but I'm still devastated about it. So if anybody with a connection to that camp is on here for some weird reason and I can get a laminate, that would be so awesome. But I was like begging Frankie's mom, be like, I was like, Frankie, maybe you could have your mom get me like her laminate, because her parents got him to come to the show. And you know what I mean? I was like, dude, so bummed. But man, that tour was a lot of fun.
I appreciate you sharing the stories. Now let's go to 3Teeth, what you're doing now.
Okay.
And Glasgow Bastard is a fan of Combi Christ, and I think 3Teeth also.
Yes.
That Glasgow show when you tried to crowd surf. Okay, so he play. Did you have an epic fall at that one in particular?
I don't know. Jordan, did I? You know what? I don't remember all of them. For some reason, the last round of Combi Christ shows, there was I don't know what it was, man, but they weren't catching me like they were back in 2017 and 18. But anyway,
everyone's older. That's how their arms are tired.
I don't know what it was, man. I actually have some video on my phone of people dropping me from the last Combi tour that I did. By the way, Emily just joined from Nightclub. So hi, Emily.
Maybe you put on some weight and maybe you're pushing 140.
Dude, maybe I did. Maybe that's what it was. Did I put on some? Maybe I put on some weight and just became too much.
I said you might be 140 right now instead of 135. I'm not sure.
Oh, so Jordan says I aimed for him, which I did. So Jordan is a very large man, not fat, but he's a very tall man. So obviously I'm just gonna, if I see somebody like that and I'm crowd surfing, I'm aiming for that guy, because generally they, well, I don't even remember what we were talking about. Sorry, I'm all wound up, dude.
big men. Not yeah, we're talking about you crowd surfing every
crowd
show.
Surf.
Wait,
Yeah.
it's like when you're in the band and you do it, it's like kind of fun, but I don't like when people in the crowd do it as an audience member, if that makes sense.
Dude, I have an awesome video. So on the last 3Teeth tour, I took a couple of GoPros and I filmed almost every show. And we were in Paris and the crowd was so good, man. They were so into it. And there was this one guy right up in front that was just smashing his face, headbanging onto the monitor. And I'm not kidding, by the end of the night, looked like he full blown got in a fist fight. Nose was completely swollen, blood coming out. The coolest thing I'd ever seen. But there was this one guy that kept jumping up on stage to crowd surf, but right in the middle of the set, you could tell that the people in the front row were kind of tired of this guy, and I have video of him running up on stage, and he nailed the timing. The song we were playing was called oh my god, why is this Degrade? The song was called Degrade, and there was a pause right before a chorus, and that was right when he ran up. So Lex says Degrade, and there's a pause, and this guy, it's silent in the venue for a split second, and he goes, Degrade, and goes to jump off the stage, and everybody just was like the Red Sea, just, you know what I mean? Just parted ways, and I got the whole thing on camera. It was really funny. I think they felt the way that you do, Ross. They were just kind of like, if the band's going to do it, cool, but we're done with this guy.
I've been known to take off a shoe or two and throw it as far back as possible just to get my revenge on people that kick me in the head.
Really?
There's nothing worse than when you're at a show and you're in the front and it's a big show and every 5 seconds you have to look behind you because somebody's crowd surfing and the security guards reach over you so you can't see the stage anymore. And then like the same like fucking annoying, and the same person will do this like 7 times in a row, like continue to crowd surf to the front. Because they want like they want like the 2 seconds of recognition where someone in the band will like give them a thumbs up or like give them like a high five. And
Absolutely.
I really think it just ruins the show for everybody. So don't do it, people. I hate it.
All right. PSA from Ross. Yeah, if you're not in the band, stay off. No crowd surfing.
Or don't go near me. I'm going to throw your shoe. I'm not going to do that.
Expect a shoe if you go near Ross.
By the way, we're halfway through. I just want to remind people that I am doing this every week indefinitely. Yeah. Tomorrow, Dolly Rocks are going to be on. Do you know them?
No, but I've obviously very well heard of them. I don't know them personally, but
they write songs that are like Bowling for Soup, how like every song is just so catchy and like memorable, and it's like the same kind of band. They're like pop rock, but every song is like could be like a car commercial or something. They're really good. They're really good songwriters. Yeah. So
are they? Do they have anything to do with Fat Records?
No, I don't think so. Well,
for some reason, my brain tied those two
well,
together.
The singer is a female, Kelly, but I don't think they're on Fat. Maybe you're thinking of Bad Cop. I'm not sure.
Maybe I am.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow. So they're going to be on here tomorrow night. It's the two of them. And then on Wednesday, I'm doing a special edition. Scott Russo from Unwritten Law, he wants to do the show on a Wednesday. So I said, all right, let's do it on a Wednesday. What else am I doing, right?
Hell yeah.
Then we're gonna skip next Friday because I don't want to do overkill. I don't want to do more than 2 shows a week.
You can't saturate the market, buddy. Yeah, you can't saturate.
So next Saturday, one of the nicest guys I know, especially for being as successful as he is, AJ from the band Lit, the singer of Lit. He's gonna be on the show with me.
Killer.
I've known AJ for like 16 years, just as a fan of his band, and they did the show a few times, and he's always really cool and nice, and so he agreed to do this next Saturday, so that's gonna be a lot of fun too.
Dude, rad! That's awesome, man.
And also awesome. next Friday, I'm gonna be watching another live broadcast on Women in Stereo, which is a great Instagram page if you like female-fronted artists. So they're gonna be going live with girl named EMM. It's M in real life is her @page, and they're going to be live with M on Friday night at 7:00. So that's another reason why I'm not doing a show. I want to watch the interview over at Women in Stereo. It's going to be fun.
Killer. Well, maybe the people that normally watch your show will go over there and join you.
I hope so. So it's 3Teeth. I don't really know much about that industrial scene. Are those fans like old school, like no phones in the air, like actually enjoying the concert? Like, 'cause I picture them being maybe slightly older, like 30s, 40s, maybe like mostly men. Am I just being like making stereotypes here? Am I?
Yeah, very. No, I'm kidding, dude. No, that's honestly a decently fair argument for that industrial sort of thing. But no, man, that's not. That was not my experience with 3Teeth. So I didn't get to tour with 3Teeth in the States so I can't speak to what those shows would look like. But in Europe, it wasn't like that at all, man. It was a really good mix. There were definitely those people, but there was a lot of younger people too, which I thought was really cool because, I don't know, I grew up liking some of the industrial metal stuff, like I had mentioned earlier, 9 Inch Nails, and obviously Rammstein was huge when I was a teenager. I mean, they still are, but I mean, Du Hast was like, I remember like that being taken over everything, and it's funny because it's a lot of the same crowd as Combi Christ, but also not. You know what I mean? It's really cool. Playing shows with 3Teeth was a lot of fun, and I only got to do like 20 of them, which was so crappy at the end because I was so looking forward to doing more of these shows. They're so fun, man. Like, I tend to, at least for me, I don't know, the bands that I have played with tend to be very much like live bands and like to do really, not like intricate, but it's a lot goes into the live show. You know what I mean? Like a lot of production, and it's really meant to be special. It's not just hey, you love the record, we're just gonna play it for you, and you're gonna be stoked. You know what I mean? Like, and so
I hate that. Terrible. Yeah.
yeah, it's just, I mean, so anyway, one of the things I really love about playing with 3Teeth is how they go out, like, they just go really out to make it an experience. You know what I mean? They've got characters. They've got the President X character from their music video and song for that song. That is, you know, he comes out dressed as that. Which, if you guys haven't seen it, go to YouTube, President X on the 3T channel. Anyway, it's really, really cool, man. And as soon as this is done and we can actually start playing shows again, I'm so stoked to go and do that with those guys because I miss it so hard, dude.
So you're still in the band at this point.
Yeah, I mean, well, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, well, let's put it this way. I mean, I'm still in the group chat.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
you're not in the press photos or anything yet.
I mean, yeah. So, like I had said earlier, dude, I literally got this message from Lex 10 days before we were leaving for tour, and that said, "Do you want to come play drums? If so, I'll email you the songs." And that's what it was. So those 10 days,
What month was that? What month did you tour?
January was when I had heard from him, and then we were. So our first show was. Yeah, dude, like we kind of watched this whole coronavirus thing unfold from over there, and actually had to cancel our Milan show because of it. We had a show in Milan, Italy. I want to say it was like the 16th or 17th of February, something like that, but we had to cancel it. And on that note, real quick, I'd like to say fuck Expedia because we bought traveler's insurance for those hotel rooms, and they aren't honoring it. So our show was canceled by the government. Obviously, they weren't going to let us through the border, so we didn't even try to go. But we had like 4 hotel rooms booked there through Expedia, bought travelers insurance, and they won't honor the insurance. So
that's lame.
Super shitty. Super shitty.
Let me make sure. Sorry, I got distracted. Someone said that.
Oh, you're fine.
My sound was down, but I don't know if I just had. I don't know if I had my hand under the thing by accident, which I do a lot, or if the sound actually went down on my end. So. Let's find out. I don't see why that would have happened. Oh, it's better. Okay, it was just my finger. I do that all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
You ever do that? Like put your hand on the bottom of the phone, you just don't think about it.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. That's why. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing the AirPod thing because.
Yeah. Wait. Now I'm losing you. Wait. Yeah, exactly. How dare you? Yeah, we're back. We got like 15 minutes. We got 15 minutes. So if you have questions, you can send them now. Also, just let us know where you're watching from, even if you don't have a question. I just like finding out where people are tuning in from. I think that's really exciting. Every time I've been doing live shows for 18 years, and I still get excited every time I find out where someone's watching from. I don't know why. It's just so cool to me, the idea that people can watch this from anywhere in the world. I think it's like insane, you know. I still am impressed by the internet. I got it in like 1995. I got AOL, and ever since then I was like blown away by technology. So I love this now. I think it's so fun. I mean, of course I miss having like people in front of me, like in studio. Oh, what's up? We got Dan by Stereo in here now from Zebrahead and Death by Stereo. I love Dan. Oh, burn. Sorry, Dan. You thought you were Paul. They can't hear you, but I can hear you. How does that make any sense? Here, let me kick you out. All right. Well, let's see if this works, guys. You know, technology and all that nonsense. Let's see if it works now. Hi.
Okay. Is this any better, everybody? Can you hear me now?
Let's see. I don't see. It's so weird. I heard you. You didn't go out for me.
Yeah, I was still hearing you too. I don't know if anybody can.
Siri messed you up. That's what happened.
Is that maybe these AirPods are more trouble than they're worth? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know what that means. What's an AirPod?
An air, you know the Bluetooth things.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Oh, all right, all right. So I think
Yeah, they're back
am I
now.
back? Am I back?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did just want to say real quick, Daddy Drum Tech. If anyone sees him, you gotta go follow his son. Is Tosh the drummer? The kid is a monster on drums. He's only like 19 and he just rips.
But by the way, since the sound went out, Nick mistakenly confused Dan with Paul from Death by
But that
Secret.
was my out, dude. Why did you have to say
I
that?
needed to make sure that he understood that. That's what you were saying. I had
That
to
is horrible. That was my out. So then
I
Dan
know.
didn't think I confused him with Paul.
You
Damn
cut
it.
the sound. You cut the sound on purpose, Nick.
I did. And if you didn't say anything, Dan wouldn't have been the wiser, dude.
If you feel something tickling you in your sleep, it's the mustache. He's come to get you.
Oh, here, now Dan really knows. We just got the emojis.
We got
Thanks.
Fullerton. We got Fullerton, Scotland, Santa Ana, Michigan, Wales.
Wales.
That's awesome. Anybody else? Feel free to let us know where you're watching from. We got Belleville, Texas, in the house.
I know my girl's upstairs, and she's from. We're in Minnesota, so Minnesota.
Awesome. What's Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. We have the 3Teeth fans Instagram was in here.
New Haven,
Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut in the house.
There we go. Have you ever been to Connecticut?
Me, I have been to Connecticut. I'm from New York, so I've been to Connecticut.
Oh, that makes sense.
They have a great hot dog place called Super Duper Weenie off like the main highway through Connecticut. I've been many times.
Do anyone ever play Connecticut?
That.
I don't think I've ever played Connecticut.
I went to Connecticut for Pop Disaster Tour. So check this out. They had a radio festival during the day. It was like Mest, Unwritten Law, like Remy Zero. Remember them? This is like 2000.
Yeah.
So it was like an all-day music fest with all these bands I liked, like in 2002 or 2001, 2002. Sorry, and then at the end of that, then Pop Disaster in the same venue took place. So you had a whole day of rock, and then Green Day, Blink, and Jimmy Eat World at night. So it was like a whole day of awesomeness.
What a tour, dude!
You were like 5 years old then. I'm sure you weren't at that show. I was like 30 at the time, so I went to a few of those.
You want to know what I was honestly doing around that time? Is I was obsessed with this channel called Much Music USA. Does anyone remember that? Do you remember that? Yeah, it was Fuse before Fuse, exactly. And what I used to do is I had a VHS player in my room, and I would take a blank VHS tape and make video playlists. Because, they would play the music videos, but at some point they would stop. And then whatever they play, I was in 5th grade, I think, 5th or 6th grade. And I wouldn't be interested in whatever they were playing afterwards. So I would just tape all my favorite videos and just watch that the rest of the day.
Remember music videos? Man.
Dude, I remember that me and my friends, I remember the first date video we thought was so funny. And I remember, we would all be sitting around at our house, during summer vacation. It is still funny. And we were that video would come on or another one, and we would literally run and call each other you gotta go right now. Are you watching? It's on again. Dude, those were the days, man.
I loved it. When I was really little, you ever see the Three Little Pigs video from Green Jelly?
No, I don't think so.
Oh my God, I'm gonna text you this after this interview.
Right.
Everybody go on YouTube, look up Green Jelly. Now they're Green Jello. They changed their name, but it's Three Little Pigs. It's all claymation. It's like kind of Primacy, like how Primus had the weird videos. These guys had weird videos too. But yeah, did you? I never watch videos anymore. Were you in a bunch of New Year's Day music videos? Did you do a lot of those?
I did 3, I think. So I did, because I did, check this out. The first thing I ever recorded with them was an EP called Epidemic.
Wow.
And Ash is on the cover with a medical mask on. And the whole theme was being sick. It was, man. So anyway, I was in a video for that. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Defame Me.
Okay. Do they even show the guys in the band though in the videos, or it's mostly Ash and then a quick your hand or something really quick?
People would let's be honest. People would rather look at Ash than look at Nikki.
So it's 70% Ash and 30% the other guys.
Yeah, which I think is probably a good ratio. And I think that was probably being generous for us. But so we I was in it was Defame Me, and then I want to say Kill or Be Killed was another one. There's one more, and I can't remember what it was, but I want to say it's like 3 videos.
I'm sure someone watching would know. And then what about Combi Crisis? That's this live touring?
Dude, I was only in one Combi Christ video, and it was for a song called My Life, My Rules. And or no, yeah, okay, yeah, it was that was the one. And so Andy had chosen this storyline where it was kind of Andy lived in near Atlanta, like a suburb of Atlanta back then.
Okay.
And so he wanted to do this Southern Baptist snake thing, right? So there was a whole storyline of, you know, zealot Christian people with the snakes and doing that whole thing. But then he got the people at his favorite bar to let us shoot our live scenes in there.
Nice.
So when we shot that video, it was like we were literally playing on a stage that was like a closet, you know what I mean? And like, I think the rest of the band was set up on the floor. And we just got to go in this bar for an entire night, film a music video, have some drinks, hang
That's
out,
great.
you know. It was good. It was a good time.
So for 3Teeth, though, this is so new that you're just right now. You just played the 20 show, so we don't know what's going to happen when the ban is lifted. You might be in videos, you may not. Who knows?
That's it, man. I mean, I hope I am, and I may or may not have heard some talk of a video idea going on with them. So
Where do they live? What country?
All of them are in LA.
Oh, they're in LA. I thought they were like another country. No.
No, they're all in LA. Which makes it nice. So I would, since the quarantine, we have gotten together once and just did some writing, which was really fun. We figured we were probably fine.
I would have reported you if I knew.
Well, here's my argument. We had just got done living in a van with each other for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure we were all okay to be around each other.
Probably.
But
you
anyway,
don't have any, you don't have any reschedule. I think it's silly now when I see bands like rescheduling shows because you don't really know. They're like, oh, we're playing now in September instead. I'm like, are you though? Who knows?
That's what's so hard about this, dude. The hardest part about this whole thing is the uncertainty.
Yep.
That is the worst. So, by the way, and this got me really excited, Wednesday 13 announced a tour with none other than the Haxons as direct support. And if, for those of you who don't know, the Haxons is Ash from New Year's Day and Matt from, or Piggy D, as he's otherwise known, from Rob Zombie.
Cool.
Those dates are all scheduled for August. So
I mean, so is Hella Megatour. It's not canceled yet either. So
let's fucking hope so, man. I like, you know me, I'm rooting for that. Like, I'm really, really rooting for that tour to happen.
Makes me wish I went to more concerts. I used to always say, I'll go next time. Besides like being in like New Orleans, like around Christmas time and seeing like, just like random bands playing. I think the last real show I went to was like Kiefer Sutherland at the Troubadour, which is awesome, by the way. But
dude, that's super cool.
That was like back in December, and I just didn't think about January and February. I'm like, oh, there's nothing that interesting. Now I'm like, oh, I should have went to everything. Who knew?
Yep. Well, when 3Teeth is playing shows again, I expect you to be there for that one so we can hang again.
Yes. I want to see you play because honestly, I did see you play for Long Shot, but you know where my mind was. I wasn't really paying attention to anything. I was just like, I'm happy for you, but I want you to hurry up at the same time. So
you're like, this is great. Get the fuck out of here.
At least there weren't like 7 opening bands. I just had to watch Trash Bags and you guys, so it was fine.
Yeah. And they were fucking great. And then okay, so here's another great thing that was about Billy Joe and how awesome that guy was. So we go and do that tour together, right?
Yep.
I want to say it was a few months afterwards, and he produced the Trash Bag EP.
That's awesome.
Out in Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, it was like, it's. I'll be honest. So, like, okay, when you go and do tours, you kind of either connect with people or you don't. And if you do connect with people, it's like you've got this lifelong bond. You know what I mean? Like you're connected. You wouldn't go into the Long Shot tour expecting that. You know what I mean? And while like I personally didn't make that kind of connection with Billy Joe, the fact that he went and like produced that record for them afterwards, and I know Frankie developed a pretty good like cool connection with him, and like just watching that unfold with somebody at that level that's written those kinds of like songs that are
Oh
that
yeah.
popular and influence that many people and is such an icon, you know, um, was really cool. Was really cool to see how just open he was to be like, still hanging out, dude. It really gave me hope for being his age and being like, okay, I've kind of been acting the same way since I was 17. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's him still. And I'm like, oh, this is okay. You know, like I want to be 30 this year. And I, seeing and touring with Billy Joe Armstrong, I was like, this is okay. I'm going to be just fine. I can just be this me. Keep doing this forever. Fuck it, you know?
Well, let's end on that positive note. Nick, before we go, tell them all where they can check you out if they want to follow you online.
Okay, I think I'm most active on here on Instagram, so at the Nick Rossi. But I just downloaded Twitter again. If you guys want to follow me on there, you can. I don't really ever tweet. And then Facebook at the Nick Rossi. You know, Facebook.com/the Nick Rossi. I have a like page on there. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to go check that stuff out.
Nice. Thank you, Nick. This will be up for
Thanks,
24
buddy.
hours, and then it'll be up on my YouTube page where you can watch all the old shows I've done recently.
Killer. All right, man, dude.
And
It was good seeing you again, dude.
I'll see you later. Everybody watching, I hope you come back tomorrow, same time for the Dolly Rods. They're going to be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, guys. Come hang with Ross. He always does good interviews.
I'm gonna text you right now, Nick, and I'll send you that green jelly video.
Love it. All right, awesome, man. Guys, thanks everybody for watching. Like, really, Daddy Drum Take, everybody coming in, Jordan. It was awesome.
See
Love
you guys
seeing
later.
everybody.
Have a good night.
Later, guys. Bye.